Today is April 26th. Welcome everybody. My name is Michael and today we're discussing about Satoshi Nakamoto. Recently we had a video about him, but this time it's something interesting. April 26th, 2011 marks one of the last days that Satoshi Nakamoto was seen. He wrote a message, "I've moved on to other things," exactly 1 decade ago. Wow. Quite a bit of time has passed. He left the cryptocurrency community. He was an avid member of Bitcoin Talk. He had over 500 posts on there. And a lot of people predict that Satoshi Nakamoto, whether it's a group, a he or she, for the simplicity, we're just going to refer to him as he, and believe his story that he is a Japanese man approaching his 50s, if he's even still alive at this point. If Bitcoin does reach a price of $182,000, if Satoshi Nakamoto has around 1 million Bitcoin, if he's not locked out, if he doesn't owe anybody else, if he even would be able to sell that, technically would be the world's richest man or group. Currently, if he does have 1 million Bitcoins, his fortune would be roughly $54 billion because Bitcoin's around $54,000 currently. Now, I've made a video recently, very recently, so I can link that down below, how he probably doesn't have 1 million Bitcoins. Maybe it's 980,000, maybe it's 900,000, maybe it's just a few 100,000. We don't know how many addresses he has, but it's understandable that some addresses have been researched extensively, and people believe that obviously the Genesis address belongs to Satoshi Nakamoto and some others that were related to that Genesis address where Bitcoins were being sent from and experimented with, but we don't know how many addresses Satoshi Nakamoto has, whether it's 10, whether it's 100, 1,000. Most of the early addresses are associated either with Satoshi Nakamoto or the people in his inner circle, but now we know that people like Hal Finney, for example, he's dead, he's been dead for years. Other people, well, we don't know exactly, but my guess is maybe he has a few 100,000, maybe he has 500,000 BTC. And even if he's not going to be the world's richest man, he is still in the top 25 if he has 1 million Bitcoin, and if not, he's going to be in the top 50 or the top 100 richest people on the planet out of 8 billion, so it still doesn't make a difference. So Bitcoin's evolved quite a bit. Now the entire cryptocurrency market is over $2 trillion. Maybe it's going to be a few trillion more in the future. It's going to beat out gold, but it's evolved from an esoteric and obscure project that mainly script kiddies, very cryptography oriented hackers, nerds and geeks, programmers who really enjoyed this stuff cared about, to suddenly a $1 trillion financial asset that all the banks and governments of the world constantly talk about. And there's regulation, there's financial institutions, corporations, Wall Street, everybody's speculating on this, and it could be worth potentially millions of dollars in the future. It's still grown drastically to 54,000. It's reaching an all-time high of $65,000. I'm not sure if Satoshi Nakamoto ever really dreamed of this. His identity remains elusive. He's anonymous, absolutely anonymous. There's some hints, but nobody's been able to decipher the code, really. One of the first cypherpunks to mine Bitcoin has a few things to say about Satoshi Nakamoto. He said he's speculating that when Satoshi Nakamoto worked on Bitcoin, most likely he did not have any experience with other eCash protocols before Bitcoin, given the lack of bias in implementing new technology. In hindsight, Satoshi didn't seem to be trying to solve a technical problem, but rather a social problem, a systemic problem with the legacy financial system. At the time, though, they were very focused on the technology, so some of the philosophical points may have been overlooked or downplayed by those not paying close enough attention. In these networks, in which we often participate pseudonymously, we sense the opportunity to regain some of what we've lost to increasingly centralized entities that capture our data, invade our privacy, dictate the terms under which we might exchange value, and specify the level of financial risk to which we should be exposed. Now, in Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, Bitcoin is sort of living up to its name. Not every point has been addressed, but most of it has been, and I'm sure it's gone much farther than Satoshi Nakamoto could have dreamed about. Its monetary policy has proven it to be a pretty nice store of value, an investment, a speculative one for now, but in the future, maybe it could replace fiat currency, who knows, or it could lead to the next thing that does replace fiat currency, because there's plenty of problems with the current financial system, and Satoshi Nakamoto wasn't pleased with how things were going in 2008. Remember, he just came out of a recession. It's not clear if Satoshi Nakamoto will ever resurface. He could be dead for all we know. But regardless, he is celebrated every single year, and he's inspired thousands of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, investors, billionaires, people to change the world with new technology. Incredibly influential people. He gave us all inspiration, motivation, and this ambition to try and change what seems impossible. Hopefully we're going to be able to live in a more decentralized world. I mean, looking back at the past 10 years, that mission, we've already kind of succeeded at that. So that's that. A decade has passed, and here's to another year of successful Bitcoin mining. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if we're still going to be alive by that time. Hopefully, if medicine continues to evolve and technology, if we're going to live, I'm in my 20s right now, if we're going to live and see the day that all the Bitcoins are mined, that's, still like 100 years away. But by then, it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see what Bitcoin's price will be at. Whether it's going to be $1 million, $100,000, who knows? That's today's video. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, like, dislike if you didn't like it, and have a good one. See you in the next one.